Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about how you can drive more kind of visually complex forms using your vector path. So once again, we'll just start with a simple path here. All right, so let's just keep that over here for a second. And let's start bringing together some of the things we know. So we have our shapes, our simple shapes. We can combine them together using the Pathfinder. If we Alt-click on the Pathfinder, we can keep them live, so you can adjust your profile. You can stack effects in the Pathfinder by having this, another shape, and then Alt-clicking again. All right, so we have this little petalish shape. Then we can take that thing, go to Appearance, add a duplication to it. Control where it's occurring within the bounding box. I'm actually going to change my file preferences, units, points. And you can go back and noodle away. All right, so we have something like this. Then I'm going to change this from a stroke to a fill for now. Doing Shift X. Okay. So we have this simple form here, and we have this path down here. So the first thing we're going to look at is a brush. You can go to Window, Brushes. Okay. And once again, there's some default brushes that Illustrator has for you, and you can grab them and assign them to the stroke. There's also other brushes. So Window, Brush Library brushes that you can use. Right? And then apply those to your strokes as well. And once again, these shapes are being controlled. The shape is being kind of driven by that path, which is pretty neat. All right. So we're gonna make our own over here with this thing, and the first brush we're gonna make is going to be a pattern. So I go pattern brush. Okay. And what this does is this repeats your form along the path. I like to keep everything to the default except for this one. I like to have it be curved, auto in between. Right. And then I hit OK. And now we have this new brush over here. And if then I click this, and I go over here, now I have this kind of snaky fern-like kind of thing, which is pretty neat. So some things to know. The weight now, it isn't a 1-point stroke anymore, this actually becomes a multiplier, right? What else? We talked about profile in the previous video. You can add profiles to this path. So if I go to this tool here, maybe add profile over here, and then at the end, make this smaller. Now we can use this to perhaps make fern-like shapes, right? And I can keep, I like, manipulating this profile. And getting these different effects. So there's a lot of potential in there. And once again, like trying to draw something like this would be quite tedious. Another thing we can do is create our own shapes. Let's see. For example, this. And make an art brush. And then what that does is, unlike the pattern brush where it gets repeated along the path, this will distort that underlying shape along the path. So for example, if I grab this, so I can make this much more elaborate kind of curve form from any shape I want, right? And that's how these ink-like effects were constructed, right? They made like an inky blob thing, turned it into an art brush. The last one I want to show you is the scatter brush. And for that brush, I'll start with something simple. Go. Go to my brush palette. Just going to get rid of any of the ones I'm not using for now. Like this. And maybe I'll make it a little smaller. Start here. Make a new brush. This will be a scatter brush. And hit OK. And how this one works is, at first it looks similar to the pattern brush, but if we look at it, we realize the triangle orientation isn't updating. And you can think a little bit, this one like more like a particle kind of thing. So with my stroke selected, preview on, what this brush lets you do is add variety to the distribution. Right? So we can add random position and random rotation and random size. And whatever. Less of them, or more of them. Right. So it's like a little particle generator kind of thing. It's pretty neat. Okay, so that's an overview of brushes.